Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button if you guys are enjoying the content that we're throwing up, and make sure you guys hit the like button if you enjoy the video. And yeah, let's begin. All right, what's going on, guys? This is Rob, and today we are taking one of the most fearsome characters in the Marvel Universe and asking what would happen if they were to gain possession of one of the most powerful artifacts in the DC Universe, the Orange Lantern Ring. And I think the first thing that we have to work out is, how does Galactus acquire the Orange Lantern Ring in the first place? So surely everyone who's watching this knows the deal with Galactus, that he goes around the universe devouring planets because that's the only way to satiate the intense hunger that he feels. Now, to help him do this, he's employed a series of heralds to find planets suitable to consume. And the current herald of Galactus, as of the time this video is coming out, is Thor. Now, we are going to make a couple of assumptions here, right? As most of you guys know, Thor is currently the herald of Galactus in order to help him find a handful of planets that will allow him to consume the Black Winter. And Thor's response is, however many people on those planets die, it's not the biggest thing because the universe is at stake here. So basically, the needs of the few outweigh the needs of the many. What we're going to assume is that under any normal circumstance, that Thor serves Galactus in a starkly different way than as it's been done by heralds of the past, in the sense that Thor has a much stronger moral compass than any of the previous heralds, probably even stronger than Silver Surfer, and that Thor is going to do everything he can to make sure that Galactus takes as few innocent lives as possible. And so the idea is that Thor goes to Sif, who's taken over for Heimdall as the guardian of the Bifrost following his death, and tells her to try and locate planets that are devoid of innocent life that he can direct Galactus to. Now, due to some sort of cosmic anomaly, Sif is able to extend her vision beyond the boundaries of the Marvel Universe and locates a planet called Okara, which is just bursting with energy, but seems to have no innocent life on it at all. And so Thor thinks that this is basically perfect, and he tells Galactus about this planet, and then they go to it. Now, immediately, Galactus is like, this planet shouldn't be here. Something's definitely wrong. I assume that's how Galactus talks. At this point, Larfleeze, the Orange Lantern, approaches Galactus and Thor, and is not about to let this planet be consumed without a fight. Now, Thor initially considers moving in since he knows the planet is inhabited, but he immediately senses that Larfleeze is anything but innocent, and he knows that now Galactus knows about Okara, that he isn't leaving without feasting on his energy. And so we basically get an epic battle between Thor and Larfleeze, which goes on for a while without either able to gain the upper hand until Galactus decides that he's tired of waiting and blasts Larfleeze back down to the planet's surface and then begins consuming the planet. Now, not long into this process, however, Galactus starts noticing that something's wrong, that this is not like any energy he's ever consumed in the past, and that it's changing him. And so we know this due to the fact that the orange power battery is housed on the planet, and Galactus is essentially tapping into that power. Now, still, Galactus finds himself unable to stop feeding on that energy. In fact, he wants to devour as much of it as possible. And so when he's absorbed the entirety of the planet's energy, including the orange power battery, Galactus is transformed into an orange lantern. And this spells disaster for the entirety of the Marvel Universe. Now, in addition to his nearly insatiable hunger, Galactus is also motivated by insatiable greed. Just a bit of background on the Orange Lantern Corps. For those of you guys who aren't familiar with it, the Orange Lantern light represents greed on the emotional spectrum. And so anyone who dons an orange ring or taps into the orange power battery is motivated only by greed from that point forward. Now, usually this means that they simply want to hoard as much stuff as they can, but Galactus is really beyond material possessions. And so I thought it would be an interesting twist that instead of desiring things, he ends up desiring as much energy as he can consume, going well beyond what he needs to survive. And so he sets out across the Marvel Universe, leaving a trail of broken worlds in his wake. Now, realizing the new danger that Galactus poses to the universe, Thor rushes back to Earth to warn the Avengers teammates, who quickly call in the Fantastic Four due to their prior experience with Galactus. And so Thor describes what happened, but Reed Richards is unable to come up with any plausible explanation, as he's never heard of any kind of orange light capable of transforming someone into a voracious greed monster. And so to try and find out more about this mysterious force, Reed goes with Thor to space to the now dead planet Okara to see what information they can gather. And Reed soon realizes what Galactus did, that Okara should not have been in the Marvel Universe, that it was clearly from a different universe based on the readings Reed was getting, but the opening in space-time that allowed it to travel to their universe no longer appears to be open. And so Reed ultimately states that he was hoping that he could access the place that the light originated, perhaps that they could find something there to help them rid themselves of it. Now, as readers, we know that in fact something does exist in the DC universe that would help their newfound problem, the Blue Lantern Ring, which is able to negate the effects of the Orange Lantern Ring. And so Reed sets to work trying to find a way to reopen the doorway into this other universe. But in case he fails, a contingency needs to be in place. And so while he works on finding a way to the DC universe, the Avengers and the Fantastic Four will seek out perhaps the only artifact in the Marvel universe that will be able to stop Galactus, the Casket of Ancient Winners. That's not true. That's a dumb idea. It's the ultimate nullifier. But the ultimate nullifier, for those of you guys who don't know, is a device that is said to be the only weapon in the universe which Galactus fears. However, since the nullifier also appears to be part of Galactus, he can recall it to himself seemingly at will. And so the team will have to sneak aboard Galactus's world ship to retrieve it without him knowing. And so what happens is that the heroes split into two teams. Thor takes one team consisting of Invisible Woman, She-Hulk, Captain Marvel, and Captain America to Galactus's world ship Ta-2 to retrieve the ultimate nullifier, while Reed Richards and the Black Panther try to devise a way to reopen the gateway to the DC universe, and the Thing stays behind with them to fly them back to the place the gateway was after they figure it out. And so the Human Torch also volunteers to accompany them on their mission, suggesting that if anyone could survive the trip between universes, it would be him, due to being able to exist as a pure form of energy. Now, because Reed and T'Challa are extremely smart, and because in their intelligence they realize that they need to move the plot along, they find a way to recreate the cosmic anomaly that opened the door between the two universes that can only be explained using the most ridiculous comic book science terms imaginable. Just that's what we need. We just need like when they're like, Reed, how'd you do it? He can just take a page out of like the Flash TV show, right? When they're like, Barry, how'd you do that? He's like, Speed Force, man. I ain't got to explain it. Like, Reed needs to be the same way, right? It's just like, Reed, how'd you do that? Science. And like, that's it. That's all you get. And so they go to the planet Okara and attempt to reopen the gateway. Now, they are initially successful in reopening the gateway, but when the Human Torch goes through it, much to the terror of his companions, he's vaporized before their very eyes. Not only does this doom his plan to failure, but it makes Reed wonder if perhaps Galactus destroying the universe would be preferable to trying to explain to his wife why her brother's atoms have now been dispersed across the universe. I wouldn't want to have to do that. But we cut to Thor's team and their attempt to procure the ultimate nullifier. Now, Thor is the first to enter Galactus' ship under the pretense of meeting with Galactus to plead with him to stop his rampage and spare the universe. This is a tough pill for Thor to swallow, but he also puts his pride aside and plays the role, knowing that Galactus needs to be distracted so that the ultimate nullifier can be secured without his detection. Now, as the two of them argue with Galactus, telling Thor to find him more planets to devour, because he must acquire all the energy he can, the rest of the team enters the world ship, and Invisible Woman becomes invisible and begins searching for the nullifier. Now, after a short time, she finds it and then takes it, but doing so sets off an alarm in Galactus's brain, as a part of himself has now been taken from him. And so Galactus blasts Thor through the wall of the ship and into space, while the rest of the Avengers team escape the ship with the ultimate nullifier. Now, as they make their way to their ship, they find that Mr. Fantastic's team has joined them outside of Galactus's ship, but he's joined by most of the cosmic heroes in the Marvel Universe. The Silver Surfer, Beta Ray Bill, the Guardians of the Galaxy, Nova, pretty much all of the heroes you can think of. Now, Reed explains that things on his end went south, and he put out a distress call that was answered in droves. Reed takes the ultimate nullifier from Sue and explains what happened to Johnny. Now, Sue's heartbroken, but there's no time to mourn because Galactus is pretty pissed off, and the only option they have is to fight. And so it's an all hands on deck situation, with even the Earthbound heroes donning spacesuits and venturing off of their ships and into the battle. There was a lot of firepower here, with heroes like the Silver Surfer and Thor aided by the Power Cosmic, Captain Marvel, Nova, and others. And for a brief moment, it looks like they may be able to mount a meaningful defense against Galactus, but then everything suddenly changes when Galactus summons an army of orange light constructs. Now, unbeknownst to our heroes, but known to us, as the Orange Lantern Ring allows its wielder to absorb the energy from its victims and transform them into heart-like constructs, which they can then command as an Orange Lantern Corps army of sorts. And so in the case of Galactus, this means that he has billions and billions of these soldiers at his command, as he's consumed multiple planets after absorbing the Orange Lantern battery. And so as heroes begin to fall before Galactus's horde, Reed realizes that the plan was doomed before it even started, that Galactus will win if he doesn't do something drastic, and he readies the ultimate nullifier for detonation, knowing that everyone in the vicinity will likely die, but that the universe itself may still be saved. And so before he can detonate it, however, it vanishes from his hand, and Reed and the surviving heroes turn around to see none other than the Living Tribunal himself. Now, for those of you guys who may not be familiar with the Living Tribunal, he's considered the second most powerful entity in the Marvel Universe, behind only the One Above All, and his job is to judge and correct resurrect anything that may throw off the cosmic balance of the Marvel Universe. And so when he shows up, you know it's serious business. And so all the fighting stops as Galactus simply just awaits judgment. And so the Living Tribunal explains that he cannot allow the ultimate nullifier to be detonated, as Galactus is a necessary element of the cosmic fabric of the universe, and that erasing him from existence would have catastrophic consequences. However, Galactus's greed-fueled rampage throughout the universe also threatens the cosmic balance of the universe and cannot be allowed to continue. And so the Living Tribunal strips Galactus of the orange power battery, and he hides it away in a pocket universe that he created so it can never be accessed again. He declines, however, to bring back Johnny Storm or resurrect any of the planets Galactus has devoured, as he determines that the universe can function perfectly well without them, and that he's not one to intervene unnecessarily. And so with Galactus no longer under the control of the orange light, he goes back to fulfilling his role as normal, and the heroes that survived the battle go back to Earth, or wherever it was that they came from, to mourn those that fell. Now, here's the cool thing. I imagine a lot of you guys probably thought that we were going to bring back Johnny Storm, right? That like Johnny Storm is like, he vaporized. Like, we didn't really vaporize. He just kind of disappeared. He's in the DC universe. He rallies the Blue Lanterns and then brings like all the Blue Lanterns to the Marvel universe and they save the day. Wrong. I thought it'd be awesome to like totally do a 180 and just like spin you guys on your heads. I thought it'd be cool. But with that being said, guys, we're gonna bring this video to an end. If you are new here to Comments Explained, make sure you guys hit the sub button to become part of the Rob Corps. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like, and I will catch you all later. Peace.